St. Louis, Missouri, 1915. The Democratic Convention draws to a close and Wilson arrives to accept his renomination for president. At Long Branch, Wilson and wife, the former Mrs. Norman Galt, wave to admiring crowds. Wilson wins on slogan, "He kept us out of war." Capitol Hill, April 2nd, 1917. The president who prayed for peace asks that Congress recognize the existence of a state of war between the United States and Germany. 4 days later in the White House, he signs the bill to make the world safe for democracy. Highlight in history, Wilson himself is blindfolded at the famous fishbowl to draw number 258 in the wartime draft. November 11th, 1918, Germany surrenders. There's armistice in France. The peace that Wilson promised comes again after 2 years of war. A happy nation hails the end of hostilities and hate. But war is not over for Wilson. Paris, France, December 1918, he comes to peace conference against his nation's wishes. Among those to greet him is General Pershing. Then, in brilliant Hall of Mirrors, first president to leave American soil sits with delegates of allied nations to sign Pact of Peace and launch ill-fated League of Nations. On liner George Washington in February 1919, he returns to a nation glad to have him home, but hostile to his hopes of peace everlasting under a Council of Nations. His last chance is the people. His appeal is nationwide. In the Northwest, he begins his futile tour, from town to town, state to state, by train and car. In Bismarck, North Dakota, thousands cheer his courage and shake his hand, but few heed his words. He spans the nation speaking no ill and warned by doctors that he must rest. His wife is always with him, but success is not. In car given him on his last birthday, the ailing ex-president sits with his wife. His high hopes doomed, he's ill and tired. In this house, February 3rd, 1924, he dies in disappointment, mourned by those who would not listen to his dreams. President and Mrs. Calvin Coolidge pay their last respects, as do Secretary of State Charles E. Hughes and wife. But his long-mourned passing does not mean death to his high-held hopes of peace. He was wronged in his time, but our time may yet fulfill the dreams of Woodrow Wilson.